I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio. Israeli airstrikes in and around Beirut have caused significant damage to the country's largest public hospital and killed more than a dozen people. Hezbollah on Tuesday launched a barrage of rockets into central Israel hours before U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in the region. Lebanon's health ministry said that 57 people also were wounded in airstrikes late Monday that destroyed several buildings facing the Rafik Hariri University Hospital, located on the outskirts of southern Beirut. The Israeli military said it struck a Hezbollah target. The family of a Guatemalan journalist celebrated his transfer to house arrest following his jailing for more than 2 years amid his daily newspaper's anti-corruption investigations. Jose Ruben Zamora, who founded El Periodico, which specialized in anti-corruption reporting and closed a year ago, walked out of jail over the weekend. Judge Eric Garcia Alvarado had ruled Friday that Zamora should be released because his preventative arrest in one of the cases had already expired. Zamora had been in prison since July of 2022 when he was charged with money laundering amounting to around $38,000. And in June of 2023, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. The sentence was overturned by an appeals court because of errors in the process, but he's waiting to see if he will be granted a retrial. Zamora spoke to reporters as he left prison on Saturday.
And I think they're going to try to lock me up again. And I want you to be certain that it may be that they are bluffing or it may be true. And if they are going to bring me back, I will wait for them at my house again, and I will come back here. I think that kind of actions are affecting them, not me.
International organizations had been calling for Friday's hearing to take place so Zamora could be freed from imprisonment. Many of them said that the journalist had been jailed because of investigations into those in power. India and China have agreed on a border pact that will see both sides coordinating their patrolling routines to try and avoid any escalating tensions. The move is being hailed as a significant step towards normal bilateral relations after the two sides were involved in a skirmish in 2020. Ishan Garg reports.
Reports say the border pact gives patrolling rights to both armies in two contested areas. It's expected to restore some goodwill between the two armies. Much of the India-China border is not demarcated, and that has led to border disputes in many areas in the Himalayan region. It's also expected that the two sides will eventually scale down their military presence in the disputed region. The development comes just a day before Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia for the BRICS summit, where he is expected to meet President Xi Jinping. And now analysts say there's every possibility that relations between the two Asian giants could finally move towards normalization.
It's 2 weeks before Election Day, and former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have been hitting the campaign trail in strategic battleground states. Donna Warder filed this report.
Thank you to Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania.
It's good to be back in Pennsylvania. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have been laser focused on Pennsylvania, a crucial swing state. Pennsylvania's 19 electoral votes is the largest prize of the most important swing states. Voters like Brian Neal of Chester County know how important they are.
Half of my friends are, voting for Kamala, and the other half are voting for Trump. So if that's any indication, then I think it's a pretty tight race here.
Fernwood Yost is poll director at Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, PA.
Pennsylvanians know that this is a key state. They're hearing it, they're seeing it. It's being demonstrated by the visits and by the advertising. So it'll mean that we have higher turnout than other places that don't get as much attention.
Early voting already has begun in Pennsylvania, and Yost says voters for both candidates are equally motivated. I'm Donna Warder.
Some of the most visible demonstrations on college campuses this fall have involved professors speaking up for the right to protest itself. After the pro-Palestinian tent encampment swept campuses last spring, colleges rolled out new restrictions on when and how demonstrations are allowed. To faculty, new protest rules threaten freedom of speech and the freedom to think, both central to university life. Faculty members at colleges around the country have pushed back on the new rules with protests, vigils, and demands for explanations. I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.